Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. I'm your host, Alex Whiteley, and joined with me today, finally managed to get Katy Rink on the show. How's it going? You okay?
Hi Alex, yeah, we're very good. Thank you very much. I'm really pleased to be here. You guys are certainly on the radar of everybody at the moment in town, so it's really nice to come in and see your pad here and meet you.
Yeah, well, we've met a few times on the road, haven't we? It's been nice bumping into you now and again, and I love what you guys do at My Shrewsbury, because there are lots of like sort of local magazines around Shrewsbury, but yours just stands out. It's
Stop it! I'm blushing. I'm blushing.
Stop it, you. No, it is. It's an extraordinarily popular thing, and I think people really do love what you do.
Oh, well, thank you.
And I've got to say, like, we were just having this conversation before I hit record, how even though you're on like a bigger scale of what I am, I consider myself a journalist in certain regards. I'm in the driving seat when it comes to interviews, but when I'm being interviewed, I'm kind of like, so I understand that it's not as easy.
It's very much rabbit in the headlights. This is terrifying for me. I really like to hide behind my pen. So to be here, you've got to be gentle with me, Alex.
I will absolutely be gentle. Who have you got with you today?
So this is Olivia Meek. So she's on work experience at My Shrewsbury.
Your mic is live, so if you do want to talk, you can.
I told her she's going to be doing most of the talking.
Yeah.
So she's doing a week with us from Nottingham University.
Yeah, Nottingham Trent University.
Huh?
And she's on a media course there. So I've tried to give her a really broad experience of lots of different jobs that she might be asked to do in the future. So she's been doing a bit of social, bit of digital editing, and some work helping us prepare features for the magazine.
Yeah. What do you think of Shrewsbury?
Yeah, well, I live near Shrewsbury, so I do really like Shrewsbury. Come here, like shopping a lot. It's a nice little town.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And as far as like history and culture, the arts. I was going to ask you, why did you start from My Shrewsbury? But it's there, isn't it? It's the culture, the arts.
So very much like you, Alex. We moved here. We're incomers. We came about 10 years ago now, and we're immediately struck by the beauty of the town and the architecture, the history. The more you scratch and look at the history, the more exciting it becomes. And things like Nigel Baker's excavation at the castle, that ticks all my boxes personally. I absolutely love what those guys have done this summer and last year. It's so exciting being able to peel back the layers of Shrewsbury and look below the surface. So I dig holes in my own back garden looking for Romans. I'm sure they've been here. Everybody says they haven't, but I'm sure they have. My husband calls them idiot holes. But the history of town, it is one thing that I love to report on and to investigate. But also, like you say, the creatives working here, the arts side of town, it's such a cool and quirky and artsy place. And getting to know illustrators, artists, photographers has been an absolute pleasure. And one thing I'm super proud of with the magazine is our front covers, because it's our USP, I think. And I had this vision for tapping into some of those talents and being able to just let them shine out from our front covers. And I'm super proud of that. They're all really special to me. It would be impossible to choose my favourite front cover. We were so grateful to Linda Edwards, who gave us a spectacular flying start doing the first year's worth of covers with her Sunnyside artwork, which is this very stylised, particular style, bringing to life some of Shrewsbury's favourite buildings. And being able to have that relationship with the artists and work together on an idea I might have, and then they bring their take on it, and then we kind of fine tune it. That's an amazing joy of a job.
It's brilliant. I mean, we're looking at one now that Charlie Adlard put together for you for Comic Salopia.
Yeah, we've had a few big names on our front covers.
You have.
Charlie was brilliant to do that. That was a stunning poster. If you don't know, people who are listening, it's a picture of the spire, the tower of the market hall, and clinging onto that is, you're a comics man, he's an ape.
I think that's meant to be just Darwin's. I don't know.
Darwin's ape.
It's an ape reading a comic book. It was for the Comic Salopia festival. We do have that here. It belongs to Jane McKenzie, but it will be going up for auction soon, I do believe, to raise money for Share. I've had that since Comicsalopia, and I've always said, that's Jane McKenzie's for Share, and we've never given it to her yet. So, Jane, come and get your picture.
We were just saying that it's really lovely to look back on these front covers, and this one in particular reminds you of a certain time and a certain place in the town's recent history, and it's great. It's
a real collector's piece as well, because it's got some signatures there, including Charlie's. A lot of the big stars that were there. It's really cool.
I don't think you asked me to sign it, did you, Alex?
No, I'm very sorry. We had that was really cool. I got a lot to thank yourselves and Shane Chebsey for that, because Shane was like, yeah, Biscuit can come in, and they set us up a studio for 2 days, and whenever people were doing panels, they would cut the stars would come out and come straight into our studio and speak to us. And this is a really funny interaction between me and Jamali Maddox, which I'll never ever forget, because I don't watch telly. I box set, okay? So I watch box sets. I don't watch actual TV. So I had no idea who he was. And he sat next to me in the studio. I was like, so what do you do, Jamali? He goes, I'm on the telly. And I was like, oh, okay, what do you do on the telly?
Googling quietly under the table.
Well, this is it, right? Because it was one of the first incidences where I didn't really know anything about a lot of the people that were coming in. It was just on the fly sort of interviews, which I think is really good. It's good exercise, because
keeps you on your toes.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you can get someone talking about their life without actually asking the questions, or, diving too deep into the facts, I think that's a really good exercise anyway. I mean, I've been doing that for years now.
Well, it keeps it really fresh, doesn't it? It's your style.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Let's go back a bit, because you said that you came to Shrewsbury, started My Shrewsbury. Where does journalism come from for you? Where does it start?
So I trained on what's known as an NCTJ course, National Council for the Training of Journalists. I came out of university with an English and French degree, and like many people with an English degree, didn't know what to do with it. Spent some time sticking labels on paint pots in the local Farrow and Ball factory down in Wimborne. And then decided that what I really like to do is write. So I went off and did the Highbury down in Portsmouth, the NCTJ course, which is absolutely brilliant. And I think I've been talking to Olivia, a lot of what she does on her course is very, very similar. So you learn your media law, you learn about public affairs. Everything feels so practical in a way that my kind of quite esoteric literature degree didn't, and I felt like I'd found my calling. I love interviewing people, and I love writing up those interviews, and so from there I went off to the Cambridge Evening News and then the East Anglian Daily Times, working on local papers and following my boyfriend, then husband, around as he trained as a surgeon, and went to London, shifted on the Nationals for a bit, doing news reporting up there. But then James's career brought us here. I did some freelancing, but freelancing is rock hard. For anyone who's freelanced, it's a pretty miserable process. You're selling these ideas. You don't know if anyone's going to want them. You spend the whole time checking your phone to see if anyone's interested. And what you really want to do is to be writing those pieces. And so it was a job that just didn't suit me very well.
I imagine it's really stressful not knowing where the next paycheck's coming from, things like that, It must be really...
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And the paychecks are tiny. Freelancing gets ever harder. And I did some work with an agency as well. And I still do a little bit of that. So my bright idea was all these skills and talents I have, this love for the town, I could wrap them all up in the package of My Shrewsbury, and if I have feature ideas that are potentially worthy of being placed in a national newspaper, I can still pitch those out and still freelance, but they'll always have a happy home in my own magazine.
Nice.
So that was the vision for it originally, but that was a little bit naive, because I think what I hadn't appreciated was how much, in a business sense, how much of a massive challenge it would be to produce a print magazine 6 times a year. It's inordinately expensive. It's a huge mountain to climb every time we come out. And we're massively grateful to each and every one of our advertisers who comes in each time with us and supports our project and hopefully sees the value in being associated with our brand.
I think people do. I mean, when we talk about the biscuit, My Shrewsbury, people that do actually offer quite a bit to the town. there are people that really do appreciate what we're doing, and like you more so. I mean, because you have this idea, like with the covers just on the covers alone, you're like, okay, Shrewsbury, let's show people what you can do. Just on the covers alone. And then
I hope so, Alex. I hope you're right. I think also that all these creative little gems of projects like ours and like yours, if we all pull together and we shout really loud about our town, I think we can have a huge effect nationally as well, and really bring our town to the attention of a much wider audience, especially through our social media channels, which become an ever larger task on the back end of things for me. It's so many times a day, probably too many for all of you listening. Maybe you see us too much, I don't know. But I treat it like a proper little mini publishing platform, so I put proper stories up there, proper
Your social
pictures.
media is brilliant, I love it.
Yeah, well, thank you. I do work really, really hard at it.
It's actually a breath of fresh air. The reason for the big sigh then wasn't because you were talking about something I wasn't agreeing with. It was actually, I feel a lot of empathy towards you, because I was just talking about, like, sometimes I do take on an awful lot. Like this week, I don't think I've ever recorded so many podcasts in a week. Honestly, it's been ridiculous. And then that just creates editing, which then creates artwork, which then creates marketing, which creates social media work. It's just this factory. And sometimes, I said to you, it hurts sometimes just to share something on Facebook, and that sounds really daft, but it's exhausting, isn't it?
Well, it is when it becomes absolutely relentless. And I think when you're feeling like that, you probably need to take a break. And I haven't yet figured out how to take a break. It's been great. We've had a few work experience students like Olivia, and a really amazing intern, Olivia Myers, who's now on an NCTJ course herself at Wolverhampton. But I'm really grateful if someone comes along and wants to gain experience and help us out, and especially with social, maybe that's a way, and I need to get better at that, working with young people, giving them a start, helping them gain career points, and teaching them the arts, the finer, the subtle arts of social media at the same time. And then that hopefully will allow us a break, Alex.
And that, again, is really refreshing to hear, because intergenerational communication is really important. Okay, so like you taking a bit out of the new generation taking a bit from you, and working through it, because we all have different ideas. We all grew up with different traumas and different things around us when we were younger, which makes us different, which makes every generation identical.
Yeah, and
identical individual. Sorry. Honestly,
I haven't had a single work experience student come in who hasn't contributed something. Yeah. It doesn't matter. You might say somebody has weaker English abilities, but always they bring a freshness, they bring a different viewpoint. I always talk to them an awful lot to kind of find out what they think of the magazine, but also how we might improve the magazine, what ideas they can bring, and then kind of just seeing them write and seeing that freshness of tone sharpens me up as well, keeps me in tune, because I'm, getting a bit long in the tooth. Don't mind saying. I'm in my 40s.
You're having fun, though. You're having fun, and that's the most important thing. When it comes to starting your new magazine in Shrewsbury, you're like, okay, we've got this idea. All right, what's the process? Is it stressful, difficult? Is it easy? Is it one of these things that you're like, I've got this task to do, I can just sit down and do it? Or was it like, what have I done?
Well, so this idea was originally an idea that didn't belong to me. It was John Simcock, who was the former news editor of the Shropshire Star, and Sarah Hart, who now has her own PR company, and together they were going to bring this idea into fruition, and they asked me if I'd come along and be the editor, and that would have been absolutely lovely, just to be the editor and let someone else worry about it. But we sort of had meetings over a few months, and then the project kind of stalled a bit, for lots of different reasons, but it didn't look like it was going to go ahead. And I suddenly realised that I would be massively disappointed if this thing didn't exist, if My Shrewsbury didn't exist. And John said, well, why don't you just do it then? Why don't you just take it on? Go ahead, So he'd done a lot of the groundwork, which I'm really grateful for. Thank you very, very much, John. And so I didn't kind of come in completely cold. But I didn't know what I was doing at all. I've learnt on the job. And getting to know the business community, understanding how Shropshire works has been eye-opening and fascinating and challenging.
I was actually pleasantly surprised by Shrewsbury, because there is a really nice community that people that cooperate. I mean, everywhere's got you kind of the bad apples, I guess, but there's not very many in Shrewsbury, really. I don't know.
I haven't stumbled on too many bad apples, I have to say. Generally, people here want to support each other. People do favours all the time. There's quite a lot of, almost like a money-free economy, where people just want other people to succeed. And so you'll just help somebody else, not in expectation of any kind of return, but just to kind of fuel this positivity that surrounds the town. So that's been absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, I think it's lovely to see. And as far as workflow goes now compared to the beginning, as far as like personnel and hours put in at the beginning compared to now, what's it look like? Is it different?
Do you know, I keep waiting for that magic moment where it all feels a hell of a lot easier.
Automated,
and it never comes. Every time there's a mountain to climb. Certainly some things are easier, but then, you solve one problem, another one pops up. And I think what I've learnt is that that's just business. That is the truth of it. For me, the joy is still kind of winkling out those interesting people, just like you guys do as well, who are fun to talk to and are up to fascinating things, and engaging with the arts community. So the love hasn't died. The love is still ever strong. And when I do get tired, something will always come along to give me a little bit of an uplift, or someone, and then you keep going. And now, obviously, it's harder than it ever was. Coronavirus has just thrown us all a massive curveball.
Very important point, because how do you solve a problem like COVID? I mean, it's not necessarily about the distribution of a magazine. It's finding things to put in it, right?
Oh, gosh, no. The content has never been an issue for me, because this town has got so much going
that's good.
For it. And I think during coronavirus, actually, lots of businesses and individuals are working even harder to think of exciting additional projects to do. It's almost like there's an unspoken rule that when things are tough, you've just got to work twice as hard with coronavirus. And so you see people diversifying, doing all kinds of creative things, all the restaurants that have reinvented themselves, Shropshire Festivals doing the amazing drive-ins. It's really inspiring. So we've really tried to keep an eye on how the town has changed, and to kind of reflect that in print and on our social, and to promote all the people who are working so hard to survive, and to kind of reinvent themselves to get through this.
This is history. This is a really pivotal moment in history, and you're documenting that. I saw a picture of my friend. He's in America, but I mean, it's still the same picture of a school bus, and all the kids all wearing masks and stuff. It was like one for the newspaper, and I was like, well, all the kids are wearing masks. That didn't happen last year. It might not happen once it's all gone. This is a pinpoint in time, and Shrewsbury is, like you said, is adapting. Like at the Riverview, just for an example, the cafe here looks beautiful out there. Like you can sit on the outside bit now with this amazing view of Shrewsbury, and they didn't have that up before. They were like, oh, okay, we'll take everything outside.
Yeah, and under the old Market Hall, that cafe is amazing.
Yes, and up by Peasbury's as well.
The atmosphere in town this summer has been amazing, and that is thanks to the Recovery Task Force and Original Shrewsbury. That I think they've all been doing an amazing job to keep everyone positive, and to encourage visitors into town in a socially distanced way. You've got to add that caveat to everything.
Yeah.
It's sad. Like, we were so good in Shrewsbury at events. We had amazing events, and now everything you try and think of or put together has to have in brackets
social distancing.
Social distancing. So it's next to impossible. But I think what I find really interesting is the things that are popping up within the spaces, working within the guidelines. It's really fascinating to see how adaptable humans are, and how creative.
And the technology as well. Obviously things have advanced a lot quicker because of this than they were probably going to. How have you guys involved through this personally through My Shrewsbury?
Well, so we kind of I sort of toyed with the idea of taking some time off because I knew the advertising was going to drop. Of course, you can't expect people to advertise an event that's not on, or restaurants to advertise through this period. So we have taken a big dip in revenue, but I felt that if we could just hold firm and cover our costs, that we ought to still come out. I felt it was really important to keep a voice during this time and to be as positive as we possibly could be, and to capture the spirit of all these amazing community and charity projects throughout this period, the kind of heroes of lockdown. We did our very best to reflect that in print. So we stayed out, which I'm really proud of.
Yeah,
I think.
Me too. Well, because there were some right from the beginning. There were some people. Personally speaking, I've mentioned them a few times. Seven Social, they straight away, bam, we're now a drive-through.
Oh, I love that. That was amazing. It didn't last too long at Seven Social for whatever reason.
But that's initiative of the highest order.
It was amazing, and I think it's something people will really remember.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Seven Social
started
driving?
I'm glad we did. It was good. Seasons, they were like, we're going to start delivering, and this is after they've been battered by floods. They were kind of like, we can do something to help the town and help ourselves. Yeah, initiatives that were just really mind blowing. Olivia, you're in university, and you're learning.
Yeah.
How many years are you into university? This your first year?
3. No, when I go back, I'll be in my 3rd year. Last year.
So, when COVID hit, what were your thoughts when it came to university and school? You were like, it must have been really confusing for you, right?
Yeah, so we didn't really know what was happening. I remember my mum called me and she was like, you're going to have to come home. And I was like, it's fine, it's not really going to be a thing. And then the university emailed us a few days and were like, yeah, you don't need to come in anymore. Which at first was quite nice. We were all like, hey, we don't need to go to university. Yeah. But then I had to come home. And then we kind of also still thought we might have to go back. So it was kind of at home is it still on? I was like, no, which was kind of sad because we missed the end of second year, which is sad, but
you thought you were going to be sat in your bedroom on Zoom doing all these lectures via Zoom. So it must be good for you to actually be out getting some experience and work experience.
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, bless you. So moving forward with COVID, I guess nobody knows what's going to happen.
Well, should we talk about Christmas, Alex?
This is where I was going.
COVID cancelled Christmas.
It hasn't though. I spoke to Brigitte and I was saying the Christmas I would like this year is a sentimental Christmas, one where it's not about the gifts, it's not about going out. I've pre-ordered my PlayStation 5, but it's not about that. I'm not doing that because it's Christmas. I'm doing it because it's that. But where we just share small gifts, the time we can spend with our family is special because we spent so long not being able to go and see your nan or your granddad or your elderly parents or something. This should be about family and about the sentimentality of Christmas, right?
Yeah, so I don't know how much Brigitte has told you, but we've got some plans to bring a big blast of positivity into town.
Nice.
Well, we're really hoping that these things will be successful because I think there's potential to build something very special. So the first thing is a Christmas lights competition, which Brigitte is behind. I think people will remember her doorstep portraits through this summer. She went around taking lovely photos of families on their doorsteps, and then she also did the traders on their doorstep as the town opened. So the new plan is to do Christmas lights doorstep portraits with a competition with prizes from the prison and from Brigitte and hopefully a few more as well. And if the whole town gets behind this idea and we have loads more decorated houses, that would be a wonderful thing because you don't catch anything. Even if you admiring a house.
Even if you lose the competition, you've got a good-looking house, haven't you, for Christmas?
Exactly. So that hopefully that will be a fun thing for everyone to get involved in. And then the other plan we have with Shropshire Festivals is carols from the doorstep.
Yes, she mentioned that. She's like, no, we need to talk properly about this. Not, so yeah, she did mention that briefly.
Yeah, because across the whole country, obviously people can't do traditional gatherings in the town squares, carols carols and singing and music is all really struggling at the moment. I play in an orchestra locally, the Shropshire Symphony Orchestra, and we keep having meetings about that. Can we play together again? And choirs are the same. Can we sing together again? And it's all a bit dispiriting. So the plan is to ask everybody on Wednesday, December the 16th, which would have been carols in the square in town, to instead gather on their doorsteps, gather in their bubbles, no more than 6, and sing some carols, and hopefully, with the involvement of Radio Shropshire, we're hoping to broadcast a carols list so everybody sings in time and at the same time. It's a little bit up in the air, subject to development at the moment, but that's the grand plan. And ideally, it would be wonderful to think that this might be an idea that could catch fire and even go national if other towns get behind it and decide to do the same.
Yeah, I think actually I've got a suggestion for someone that could probably help you. While we're doing the virtual show in Much Wenlock, Charles from Micro Videos put together a video of a choir singing, a bit like a Zoom chat. It was all Zoom chat videos, and he put them together, and they were singing beautifully in harmony. He said it took him hours, and it was a dread to do, but he did it, and it was amazing. So
it's so clever, those compilations. I have no idea how to put those together. Yeah.
I mean, I like editing, but that just sounds like a nightmare to me. This is brilliant. Where did this idea come from? Did you guys just sit around and have a brainstorm, or?
Well, I just hated the idea. I just kept thinking, any day now, the national papers are going to have headline, Christmas is cancelled. And sure enough, a couple of days later, it came out, Christmas 2020 is cancelled. And I thought that so isn't the message that we need to be broadcasting for mental health, for well-being, for the economies of all of our towns across the UK. We don't want doom and gloom. We just have to fight it with some kind of positive messaging.
It really did annoy me too. It was such an irresponsible... I mean, imagine someone's got 12 months left to live, right? And this is their last Christmas, and they see that headline. That's heartbreaking, right? That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's awful. And I think, is it Michelle Obama who said that we're all suffering from low-level depression at the moment? And it's the idea that we all thought that we were going to lift out of this, that come the autumn there would be the bounce back and the recovery, and to then feel that we're slipping the wrong way again. Of course that's going to have an effect on our mental health.
Yeah.
And people, I think, were really struggling anyway. It just pushes them down that bit further. So if together, collaboration, togetherness is super important. I think to pull together and try and come up with ideas to keep the town a positive place, and the country a positive place.
I think if enemy soldiers can have a game of football, in no man's land during Christmas, I'm pretty sure we can do something positive as well. You got to think about, it's not just about going and spurging at the shops. And I know it's important to the economy, and it's important to independent businesses. Don't get me wrong. Okay, so if you can support your independent businesses, do that. But that's not the most important thing. It's about feeling good and being around your family. Yeah. The nice feelings of Christmas.
And the great thing about this town is you just have to mention it to a few people, and suddenly the ripples begin. Yeah. And so Shrewsbury Streetscape, the wonderful drawings by Andrew
we've
Arrow,
had them on the show. Yeah.
Katrina, his wife is an absolutely fantastic singer and is very connected to the musical community of Shrewsbury, and she's just taken the idea and is running with it. I think we've got Frankwell, Castlefields, Bellevue already planning what they're going to do on December the 16th. And so, yeah, we very much... Are
we going to have a competition as well for like the best sounding village or, part of Shrewsbury?
I mean, yeah, there's obviously a whole layering of ideas that we could bring into play here. And there will be a charity dimension. Sorry, I should have mentioned to both events. So we think that food poverty is a massive issue and not going to get any better, sadly, for many, many months. So to be supporting Shrewsbury Food Hub and the food bank with these initiatives, I think would be very, very important for me. I think if we can ask people, whether on a street-by-street level or a Just Giving page, to donate to the food bank and food hub.
Well, so much food was wasted during the lockdown, wasn't it? Beggars belief. Yeah. So yeah, if we can return the favour. And maybe go and buy a few extra tins and give it to the food bank. I mean, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, everything and anything. Just giving is a powerful tool as well, and we'll hopefully be setting something up with the food hub soon.
Brilliant. I mean, I love that. You were talking about that news story about how Christmas is cancelled. Ridiculous headline. And when it comes to media and to the journalism, there are some papers that just don't care. They'll go all out. Magazines will do the same. Rolling Stone famously destroyed Nickelback by putting them as one of the worst bands in history, and now Nickelback's terrible, which I love. I love Nickelback. So, do you set yourself some rules for My Shrewsbury?
Yeah, do you know, right at the very beginning, I wrote a mission statement, which I'd have to dig out. But it's all the things we've been. I mean, we're not a newspaper, so celebrating the great things about life is what the magazine sets out to do. We're a lifestyle magazine. We don't tell the nitty-gritty news. I think local news is extremely important. I think the Shropshire Star does a fantastic job of telling local news. I certainly tune in every day. Do you, Alex?
To the Shropshire Star? And
read your news online?
I do. I struggle with the political things. I struggle with that because the to and fro thing, it drives me a bit insane. So I kind of just pull away a little bit because I like to keep momentum, positive momentum. I do like to listen to the news. I'm kind of more in tune with what's going on in America at the moment. It sounds daft, but there's lots of noise in America at the moment, So.
Yeah, but that can be very depressing to go too far down that
and
rabbit hole.
I stay away from the negative. There, it is a rabbit hole.
Also, I think I've always been a feature writer, so there's a big difference between. Although I trained as a news reporter, I like writing longer read articles where you really get a sense of the person that you're talking to. It's a very special art, and it really excites me, that kind of writing. It's a little bit more creative than a news story. You can use language in a much more exciting and interesting way, I think. I also like reviewing, food reviewing, theatre reviewing. That's a really fun way to write as well. So our mission statement is positivity, and also participation. I think if our magazine, if you opened it and thought, I'd love to get involved with that, or I'd love to go to that, or we did, I think last January, a Try It Out feature, because there are so many interesting, quirky clubs going on, everything from metal detecting to, I can't remember what it's called, really odd yoga where you kind of balance, it's kind of dancing in the air but on another person. There's a weird and wonderful stuff going on, and if somebody opens the magazine and thinks I'd love to have a go, then I think I've done my job, because it's that well-being thing. You've
given them a voice.
You only come this way once in life. I think all of us have to have as good a time as we possibly can.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that so much. I really do. Oh, that's fantastic.
And if I can help people do that, then my mission is complete.
That's so poetic. I love that. Because it's good to give people a voice. I mean, especially coming out of what's going on with the pandemic. There's lots of companies out there struggling, and we've lost Button and Bear and some brilliant places, and it's nice to be able to give them that voice. And I do congratulate you for that, because I'm always a champion for independent businesses, companies, events, people that are going out there and just trying their hardest,
Yeah, and actually through this crisis, what I like to see is new stuff appearing. So there's been some young people who've maybe been furloughed and thought, do you know what, this is giving me time to think about that idea that I've always wanted to do. And my memory is dreadful, but there's a guy who set up Viking beard oil. There you go. Just kind of ideas that were in the back of their minds, and suddenly they've got the space to bring them to light and just have a go. And they set up a Facebook page and they get trading, and all of a sudden that little idea kindles into life. And I find that really exciting and fascinating, watching those journeys. And it gives hope as well that, yes, economically people are struggling, but there will always be people willing to give things a go. And as long as that spirit is alive, new businesses will grow and our economy will survive.
I think during times like this, any sort of inspiration is important, because like you said, people are sat at home going like, and then they read a story in My Shrewsbury about, I don't know, Pure Rain, for example, this new hand sanitizer, the company that started.
Yeah, I have some in my handbag.
Yeah, I messaged her like last week. I was like, let's do something. She was like, yeah, I've got these days free. And then loads of stuff happened. My schedule just went kaboom, and I didn't have time to get back to her. I messaged her a couple of days ago. She was like, nah, man, I'm doing Heart Radio, I'm on BBC Shropshire, I'm doing this. I haven't got any time. I was like, oh my God, I missed that window. So we're going to have to find her when she's done all the press junkets and stuff. But yeah, fascinating that something like COVID-19 has created this product that's now going to go out and do really well.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be fantastic. It doesn't smell bad. It's it doesn't crack your hands. It's how did they come up with that? It seems it ought to be everywhere.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's alcohol free, right, as well? That's right.
I think so. We sound like we're on a commercial. I am not being paid by Pure Rain, but it is an amazing idea, genuinely.
The reason I say that is because there is obviously we work a lot with Cher and as they like to stay away from things that got alcohol in them. So I was just like, yeah, it's good. If you after a hand sanitizer, blah blah blah, yeah. With Pure Rain, we'll get them on the show. But for now, check them out. What's kind of your more sort of memorable sort of career moments as a whole?
Gosh!
What are the things that really just popped for you? Like,
so some really fun things. I remember had this idea. This was a local paper story on the East Anglian Daily Times. There were a bunch of octogenarians, so old age pensioners aged 80 plus, and they were war veterans, and they were doing a charity raising Cresta run. Do you know that downhill luge in San Moritz? And I just thought this sounded like the best idea ever. So I asked my editor on the paper if I could go along, and if the paper would kindly pay for it to let me spend a couple of days in San Moritz with these old chaps. And the editor said, if you can find a way to fund it, you can go, you can have the time. And so I got the tourist board in San Moritz to they funded the train, I think, in the room, in return for some coverage in the paper. So I went along with these guys, and the Cresta run is so dangerous that at the top, when you get given your introduction, there's a human skeleton that's entirely composed of x-rays that have been taken of broken bones of people who've crashed and burned on the Cresta run. And these 8-year-olds were going to throw themselves down it. And sure enough, they smashed themselves to bits. But they had such incredible spirit that they all took it in their stride. And they took me up there on this little red train through the mountains. And these are war veterans. They do things in style. So they were whining and dining, and they made a big fuss of me as a really young reporter as I was then. So that was a super fun trip. But I was a bit disappointed because they don't let girls down, or they down the Cresta run, or they didn't in those days. So I didn't get to have a go.
That's sweet.
Yes, that was a really nice one.
I find it weird, like, because I'd never done this before. I didn't even think I was doing a podcast as part of the press until somebody was like, "Yeah, you can get press passes to things." I was like, "Oh, really?" I had no idea, right? And I thought I'd try for a Comic-Con. I was like, "Okay, we'll try it." And they were like, "Yeah, okay, straight away, bam, yeah, you can come." I'm like, "This is for Thor's kin." Okay, it's not being rude. It's my old show, and it was. They said yes, and I turned up, and I didn't know what to expect. Right, I've never been to a Comic-Con before. This thing's massive, it's huge. Like, they were like, you need to go to the press room right at the bottom. So I'm walking for miles. I get to the press room, and I was expecting them to be like, "Oh God, the press are here," but they were like, "Would you like coffee? There's the agreement. Here's the Wi-Fi password. Da, da, da. And if you join me in 5 minutes, we'll be interviewing Brian O'Mara, who's Batman. He does the voice of Batman." Within 15 minutes of me being there, I was interviewing Batman. I was just like, "What's going on?" Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I remember. Do you remember John McCarthy and Terry Waite? So they were both chained to a radiator, famously in Beirut. I don't know what year it would be. But they were on our patch when I was on the East Anglian Daily Times in about 2001, I think. And bizarrely, came and had coffee in my front room to tell me their story. And I just thought, a bit like you, what a crazy world it is. what a crazy job to be able to. It's a real privilege, isn't it, to be able to engage with people that, and then to communicate their story to others. It's being a journalist is so much fun, but it does spoil you for anything else. I've also done a bit of teaching, and my hat's off to teachers. It's such a tough call, especially at the moment. Teaching is.
I imagine it's difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a difficult profession.
There's lots of when it comes to the masks, COVID-19 and social distance and blah 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 blah. There's a lot of indoctrination now from parents. It's nonsense. No. I imagine that's really difficult for parents to teachers to deal with at the moment.
Yeah, and also worries about their own families and their own safety, and now so many teachers are having to be off school because they've had a COVID scare and can't get a test, or their kids have, and then the extra burden that puts on all the other teachers who are trying to carry the load. I think schools, each and every teacher deserves a massive award for what they will have been put through in the past year.
Absolutely, totally agree. It's been terrible. Where do you go forward with My Shrewsbury now? Where are we going? Are you happy with how things are, or have you got plans for the future?
It would be amazing to actually have some staff and have a bit of help. So that would be my number one goal, is to perhaps get to a position where we're strong enough to grow in terms of manpower. Because I'm launching in digital. I'd like to announce.
Exclusive.
Now I've announced it. It's got to happen, hasn't it? Yeah. But that's going to be a huge amount of extra labour, and it all falls on me at the moment. So to be able to grow the business and bring more people in is what's needed. And the big question is how to finance that, because local media have traditionally always relied upon advertising, and that becomes ever more difficult. And readers sadly have become accustomed to getting their content for free. I'm sure this is the same battle for you guys too. But I really hope that culture is changing slightly. Some of the national papers now putting their paywalls up, and people just need to realise that content has to be resourced. There are people collecting it, keeping you in tune, and we need to finance that, or you'll lose local news, you'll lose local features, and so I think perhaps to kind of begin to appeal to readers to support local content is what's needed. How to do that is very difficult, because you can't bang people on the head with a stick.
This is the battle we have all the time on the Biscuit, because we're sat in an empty shop at the moment, which I'm super grateful for, and I'll never not be. But we could do with our own studio. We need our own space, and that costs money. And so, who do you go to say, can you just let us use a building for free for like a year or so? You can't.
Yeah. So everything is begged, borrowed, and stolen,
exactly,
isn't it?
I don't earn anything for this. I don't get paid. This £1,000 worth of microphone on this table I funded myself. Yeah. You're right. It does. When it comes to making content like this that the town appreciates and what you do, there's got to be some sort of line there where we can.
Yeah, I think the problem is that it goes from being a labour of love to being a labour, and then you wonder how much longer you can carry on. And financial reward, it's not so much that, it's just that you would like to feel that the business stands on its own 2 feet. And has sustainability, and that if I were to leave, I would love for somebody else to be able to take it over and to look at it and say, yeah, this is a decent business, this is a going concern, it's worth carrying on with. So for those reasons, I think it needs to grow and be a little bit stronger than it is. I think we do a really good job of pretending to the outside world that we're a big institution. People ring up and they'll say, they'll ask to talk to a different editorial department, or they'll say, could you send one of your people? Yeah, it's just me.
So what are you after? What kind of roles are you trying to fill at My Shrewsbury? I mean, are you after volunteers just at the moment, or is... You know?
Well, volunteers are great. As I've said, it's lovely to have people through the door. But then I feel compromised. You know, as soon as people are giving work of value, I feel they ought to be paid for it. I don't want to constantly be exploiting people. It's really uncomfortable. So I'd like the business to be strong enough to provide some paid roles for people. Well, obviously we do pay for things. Not everything is scraped together. So we have distribution, we have design. Somebody helps with my invoicing, but all a little bit here and there, rather than being able to build proper employment. It just needs to take the next step.
I do have a lot of empathy, and for listeners of the Biscuit that are like, "Oh my God, Alex says he wants to get paid, who's going?" I'm not. I love doing this thing. It's passionate. This is what I love to do. This is what I was born to do. Okay, be behind the microphone. It's a bit like yourself. You know, you wanted to do this. You're doing it. You're enjoying it. It's just sometimes it's hard. It is hard work. So when episodes are late, or there's a typo because I've written it at 2:00 in the morning, that's why.
Yeah, here's to that. Yeah, well,
I do have a team around me. I mean, I've got an amazing team. I've got Max, I've got Dee Dee, I've got Shane and Julie, but they're my mic talent, you know, and they do help me an awful lot. And I think we're going to do a workshop sort of on editing. Sort of editing would be great. If anyone wants to help me do editing, that'd be great. Audio editing. It's great. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I have only just recently got into podcasts because I've got a dog. So suddenly this window of opportunity has opened up in my day. So for half an hour every morning and evening, now I get to listen to stuff. Obviously the Biscuit, number one.
Nice.
But there's such great content out there, and people doing it so well. It's a fascinating art form, podcasting, and it's a really exciting new way of telling stories. So it would be great. Yeah, I'd love to kind of watch you more closely, maybe learn from you, Alex.
I'll show you the way. I do have a lot of people just like ask me for advice. It's really nice actually to pass on the baton, because I've always said this from the very beginning, from the first moment I hit record on here. I was like, you can all do it, and you absolutely should, because there's like 7 billion people on this planet, and there's like 1 million active podcasts. That's a lot of ears. There's lots of people that will listen to your show, so do it, absolutely. And so you got the podcast. Are you making your own podcast, or are you just listening?
Oh God, no! I occasionally have ideas as I'm walking around, thinking, "Oh, that'd be such a good idea." Like yesterday, for example. This is giving away an idea. Someone might do it. But I met an amazing chap, John Southerton.
The photographer. Yeah.
He's so lovely. He's 85. Sorry, John. I hope you don't mind me saying. And we met for a cup of tea, and we went for a walk around Shrewsbury, and every 2 yards he would stop and tell me an amazing story about, this is where we all used to play, the boys would jump off the bridge. He said, look at this gap here, we used to all be able to climb through here and hide, and old Mrs. Rowlands, you know, she would let us run errands for her, and it was so brilliant. But I thought what was most interesting was understanding how children used to play, and how different that is from how kids play nowadays, and to do something around play, maybe how we used to play, and capture those voices before people pass on and we lose the kind of immediacy of the experience of how people used to play. I'm sure there's something in that. Come on, Alex.
There was, and this was one of Shane's ideas. Actually, was to create memoirs of a Salopian.
Oh, memoirs of a Salopian.
And this is where you take a silver-aged citizen and you sit there and you talk to them about what they did. You know, the pubs they went to, the schools they went to, where they went to university, you know, where they worked, things like that, because Shrewsbury's constantly changed through time. So if you speak to someone from an older generation, there might be people listening to it and go, oh, I remember that place.
And suddenly you're creating a really important piece of social history that then could be kept in the archives.
Well, this was really important, what we did with the voice tours we did for the Shrewsbury the Bid. We went round and we did the tours of Old St. Chad's, St. Mary's, the castle, and Bear Steps, and these are like some of Shrewsbury's. We had Nigel Baker talking about the castle. Like
Nigel Baker.
This thing will live on forever now. It's immortalised. You know, so in 20 years, 40 years, should I say, when Nigel's no longer with
And
us.
Nigel will be immortalised, quite rightly too.
Yeah.
He's the most amazing speaker, Nigel. You just have to point the microphone at him and all these golden gems pour out of it.
I did it yesterday. He looked so flustered. He was like marking things on a chart, and it was their last day. They had Wednesday it was, sorry, and they had like 4 hours to go. I was like, word for the biscuit kind of thing. He was like, yeah, absolutely. And he's just like, yeah, so today I was just like, this guy's fantastic.
He is, he's golden.
Yeah, I've worked with him so much over the last month, and I haven't regretted any second of it. It's been brilliant. Yeah, I always enjoy chatting to you. We don't do it enough. You're right. You messaged me a while ago. Yo, wow, what's going on? We could go for a coffee sometime. You know?
I really don't like talking. This is another idea I had for a podcast, would be to go and talk to people who are brilliant at talking, and kind of try and find out why. Why are they good?
You should do a competition. The best talker in Shrewsbury. You think you could challenge?
I don't know. I think you have. This is being probably too honest, but I think I have a little negative voice that sits on my shoulder that kind of critiques me whilst I'm in the process of talking, and you've got to find a way of telling that voice to shut up. It's a tough one.
It is tough.
And do people in the public eye have that, or have they battled with it and silenced it?
This is what's going on with social media, though, isn't it? You know, there is no inhibitions. There. It's kind of like you can see what you want.
It's all out there.
It's all out there. And I wrote a poem actually yesterday. We spoke to Gina Atkin, the poet.
Yeah, who did the lockdown poem.
Yeah, she's lovely. And we were supposed to have a poem off. Dee was supposed to write a poem. I was supposed to, but she didn't do her homework, so I just had to read my poem out and have Jean critique it. And it was all about that. It was all about, like, I used to suffer terribly from social anxiety, right? So if I was in a room with a group of people, you know, I'd be like, how's it going? Yeah. All right. Yeah. Put a microphone in front of me. I'm like, hey, welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit. You know, it's really weird, this psychology.
It's really weird.
But it's really helped me understand myself, you know. So I think you can find it. I want to thank you so much for talking to me today. Honestly, if we can help each other in doing what we do, I would love to.
Great. Well, let's do that. Let's meet regularly then and see if we can pull together.
You don't have to shove a microphone in your face, but I mean, like, if you have any ideas, brainstorm, what have you. Yeah. I don't know, coffee once a month, maybe, at least.
Cake.
Done. It's absolutely done.
Thank you. That's
Olivia,
great.
what have you learned since you've come to, work with Katy? What's the most key facts?
I've wrote some stuff, but also I think just working on social media. Haven't really done a lot of that on my course.
Yeah.
Did some like Instagram posts, Facebook posts. I think like that's a thing I might want to like go into as well. So it's really interesting to learn more about that.
It really is important. And it's something like this year I've really put emphasis, especially Instagram, put a real emphasis on Instagram. We're kind of coasting on by, just getting the odd new follower every now and again. We're on 450 followers. Like about 3 months ago, we had about 450. It was really going up. But I was kind of like, let's make this thing sexy. Let's like, whoa, look at this, look at that. Keep things going. Now we're rocking up to 1,000 in those 3 months, and it's because we're keeping things active and looking attractive. You know, for an audio-based industry, we're kind of looking really good on Instagram. It's really important. You're right. Yeah.
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 It's quite often in your face, Alex, looking attractive. You've got a million different poses.
Do you know
which you've really changed, because I remember when I pointed a camera at you all those months ago when you just started, and you were incredibly shy and didn't want your photo taken.
Shrewsbury's created a monster. I posted a picture of me and Dee up yesterday, and I was trying to grow a beard. I was kind of like, yeah, let's go for the beard, yeah. And I hated it, so I was like, this morning it's gone. It's gone, because I was just like, I like to look sort of, at least, I'm not the best looking guy, but I like to at least groom a bit, you know what I mean? So when that beard was kind of like, no, not for me.
Poster boy, biscuit.
Poster boy. Oh, Bonnie, you're amazing. I love chatting to you. Olivia, thank you so much for joining us today as well. Would you like to? Did you say you want to see some thank yous, or did you not want to go down that avenue?
My list of thank yous would be so long. People, the number of people that have given their time to me over the years, 4 years now, is extraordinary. But I think our photographers particularly have just been brilliant, because images are so important for what we do in print. So Brigitte Zoutman photography, Barry Phillips, who does extraordinary, he's the artisan storyteller, so extraordinary shoots of artisanal creatives making whatever they make, and he'll break it down and do different stages of the process in pictures. He's fantastic. John Hayward at Shropshire and Beyond, I know you know John, don't you? But he gets up at the crack of dawn, goes out, leaves his house at 4 a.m. to go and get a sunrise, and he's an incredible person. And Andrew Fuzek-Peters, obviously, he's a bit further south in our county,
I've
but
heard of him.
his wildlife photography
Nice.
is nationally important. He's often on the front page of the national newspapers with his pictures, and he very kindly supports My Shrewsbury with a wildlife image. Actually, I like this, and I think I'm the only one who gets the joke, so I'm just going to explain it. If you open My Shrewsbury and you see the first page, it says My Wildlife, and it's a little bit in the style of Country Life Girls and Pearls, you know, where they say the debutante who's getting married that month.
Oh, yeah.
But instead of the debutante, we have like a rabbit or a fish, a salmon. So I always chuckle, but I think I'm probably the only one who gets my own joke.
No, that's good. I mean, there's Tat as well, Tat FB.
So those are our photographers, but in terms of artists, Tat is in every single magazine, and she's absolutely first class cartoonist working in the UK today. I don't know anyone with a sharper or slightly sharper wit, and slightly bizarre. and again, Tat is someone who says she makes herself laugh all the time. So why wouldn't other people laugh too?
I think she's adorable. I really do think she's adorable. She's amazing. When we first opened our studio across the way there, she was the first one to drop us some art, a good look card, and she's very supportive on Instagram.
She's the coolest. She's really cool. And also Lynn Evans designs, you know, the collage artist. She's fabulous. And actually, I can reveal she'll be on our Christmas page, front page, with a design to be revealed, but that I think will look absolutely cracking and very eye-catching. And all of the artists that we work with, Shrewsbury Streetscape, James Wade, they now have a column in each edition. And lovely Stan Sedman, he gives the history to go with that particular section of the street. So I really love that piece as it comes in each time. And Giles Bell, a lovely Giles. Have you met Giles? You ought to have Giles in.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm giving away, but he's our final bell at the end of the magazine.
Okay.
And he has a very kind of warm style. He kind of grows on you like a fungus. Don't you, Giles? But we're very fond of him, and he's been with us from the very beginning as well. There are far too many people to thank, and I'm so sorry to the people that I haven't mentioned.
No. I mean, I want to say thank you to you for bringing My Shrewsbury to the town, because it gives everyone, all those people that you've just reeled off, even Olivia sat here today, they've all been given an opportunity by you, you know, to show people what they can do.
Well, it certainly works both ways, so thank you.
Thank you. And you know what, maybe one day the poster boy of the biscuit can go on the front cover, you know, just...
We need you in a cool style, like Jamila. Jamila would be awesome at capturing you for our podcast.
Yes,
Let's
Jamila. If you're listening to this, I see her most days on the school run. So if you're listening, we can go and do some art and put it on the front. Yes, that's definitely gonna happen. We should let the biscuit take over for a day or for a month.
I could have a holiday. Thanks, Alex.
Biscuit takeover.
You don't. Can you sign here?
I'll write keynotes and then you can type it up maybe. I'm not brilliant and stuff like that, but no, thank you so much for joining me on the show. Listeners, that was fantastic. I'm really happy with that. Make sure you check out our website, which is www.theshrewsburybiscuitpodcast.co.uk. All of our audio is available on there, and it's made by our friends at Web Orchard. If you need a website, make sure you check out Web Orchard. They're brilliant, fantastic. Pete will listen to your ideas. He'll come up with something sexy and sleek and brilliant, and you should definitely check them out. And this episode was recorded at the Parade Shopping Centre. I've got Biscuit Studios here. It's an empty shop, but we really do appreciate the support from them. And you should definitely come and check it out. It looks brilliant, the Parade, right now. The shops are changing all the time. They're constantly thinking of brand new ideas to make this place look really attractive. It's a really good place to walk through. Thank you very much again, guys.
Thanks for having us. It's been great.
We'll catch you guys next week. Peace out.